Welcome everybody to the Star Series, or SLTV rather, Pro Series. It is Season 11, Scary Faces versus Duza Gaming facing each other in this loser bracket final, which, well, sometimes is called the consolation final, but whoever or however you call it, it is still pretty much top 3 guaranteed for both of those teams. But whoever wins this best of 3 will be facing London Conspiracy tomorrow at 18 CT for the grand final in a full best of 5. Of course, LC do have the one game advantage coming in from the upper bracket, but well, we are. We're HeflaTV, the English coverage for you. I'm Couchor. I'm joined by more rage players, man. How do you think this game will end, or do you have any just massive expectations?
I think we're going to see a pretty good showing from Scary Faces. They've had to earn their way here through a couple of good series. The first two series, they took 2-1, and they were pretty close. But the last two have been fairly convincing, and albeit they did face HOG, who was shorthanded quite a bit a couple of days ago, but they nonetheless took them out as they were expected to do. And Duza, as they are here, as they are in general, pretty much 5 mercenaries. So, I mean, Lalik is here. He is a Duza member, and a couple of these players have been playing with them throughout the tournament. But either way, they're never really the most consistent roster, and for that reason, I do expect Scary Faces to have a little bit more synergy here. They are playing with the full 5, and they will open with an Omni Knight Faceless Void. So, pretty strong opening 2 for them.
I mean, Faces Void definitely strong, and probably no easier way to make sure that somebody is next. I mean, let's say the Faceless Void is next to somebody for the Purification than the Chronosphere. There's just almost no way that Dusa Gaming can make it so that the Omni Knight will fail with the Purification bomb if the Chronosphere is there. So that's nice. I mean, Repel is decent as well.
Yep.
I would definitely like to see something maybe like a Troll even come out for Scary Faces now. Battle Trance is just an excellent ability for the Faceless Void. It means more bashes. Troll himself is already a bash lord, so we'll see. But Dusa Gaming, starting with his Slark, definitely a strong hero, but Chronosphere can still shut him down. But will we see support now? Skyrav, something like those lines maybe?
Skyrath definite possibility here. Perhaps we even see something like a Shadow Demon Demonic Purge for the Guardian Angel, but the tick time on DP is pretty long, so it's not a direct counter by any means. Slark, not a usual Diffusal Blade builder, so it's good that the Omni has been picked into him, and he will have the Dark Pact and the pounce damage through that, but it relies quite a bit on his right clicks. As you mentioned, if he doesn't get that Shadow Dance off versus Chrono, is still very susceptible to dying through that, especially with the Purification pure damage nuke. But speaking of pure damage, Duza going to go heavy towards their cores early in this draft. Brewmaster Brood Mother banned out by Scary Faces, and they're going to pick up a Timber Saw here, so not bad into Void. If he isn't chronoed, he can throw that Chakram in and dissuade him from attacking a single target and also slow his attack speed. So I don't mind the pickup here in the Timber Saw. Currently no reliable lockdown aside from the Chronosphere to stop him from chaining around.
Well, at least Scary Face they have plenty of time to go for any kind of heroes as such. Tusa Gaming, of course, might want to ban out the Skyrath Mage, for example. First of all, great combination with the Slark, but well, complete respect ban of the Lina Scary Faces. Playing Lina, playing Patch every now and then as well. Also, as you saw from the first phase already, Bloodseeker taken out. I guess maybe that was purely because they wanted to go for the first pick Slark. Bloodseeker definitely a counter, but Scary Faces, they are a team that play offlane Bloodseeker, for example. But I think for Scary Faces, Skyrath Mage would definitely be excellent. It's a nice combination with the Faceless Void. Plus Ancient Seal is, or might be kind of a necessity against Timber Saw. If not though, I guess something like a Lion might do as well.
Yeah, definitely so. The Skyrath Mage still looks pretty good here, but they do lack some lockdown, I should say, unless they put this Omni Knight in a core role, and in that sense, he'll probably have to be relegated to offlane responsibilities, which isn't the strongest, but he still can certainly find some levels, and definitely levels more important than farm on your Omni Knight. We have seen a Bash play a pretty effective Lina, so I understand that ban from Duza. As you mentioned earlier on, the Bloodseeker definitely banned out to allow for the Slark to have a little bit more free reign and allow his Shadow Dance passive to get off without without that Thirst having vision of him. Meepo ban, not exactly sure what that's about. I haven't seen Scary Faces run it at all in SLTV Pro Series 11, but just something Duza probably not willing to face up against. Timbersaw isn't bad at all versus Meepo, but not sure if they knew that they were going to opt for that pick that early on. Either way, a little bit interesting to see them take the Timber over the Venge, and Scary Faces will be able to ban out the Venge now.
I mean, Venge definitely is one of those heroes that is strong regardless, but if your ultimate has something to counter, it's even better. Against Faceless Void, you can easily just swap people out of the Chronospheres, although you yourself will be left to die most likely. At least you're going to save a core, and it's always worth it.
Yeah, definitely. So they'll ban out the Invoker here for Scary Faces. A little bit interesting from them, but they're definitely lacking a mid laner for Duza. And as you mentioned, they will opt to go for the Skywrath. Chronosphere, Mystic Flare combo, always fairly potent throughout the early to mid game, and will garner usually a couple of solo kills, especially when you add in the Purification damage nuke into the fray. So things looking good thus far for Scary Faces. I do worry for their lack of lockdown, but as you mentioned, Ancient Seal, pretty reliable way to deal with the Timbersaw, not so reliable in dealing with the Slark if he's able to get off that Dark Pact.
Wow, Duza going for a Tusk now. Okay then, is there a screen under a fake name there somewhere? I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see him in his signature Tusk role, but they're going to have to combo this up with something well. I expect something like the Witch Doctor. Perhaps they even opt for a Disruptor here. He's not bad into Void either, being able to drop that Static Storm under the Chronosphere, so it'll be interesting to see what Duza pairs it with, but I feel like the Tusk may be fairly effective in this one. He's not the most ideal Chrono target. He is a little bit more tanky than your general support, and also can throw the shards and the sigil from outside the periphery of that Chronosphere. So it'll be interesting to see how Duza utilizes him with a one position like Slark, who also likes to roam around and look for pickoffs.
And at the moment, they of course are running full melee lineup as well for Duza, so maybe a little bit scary, but then again, pretty much one of the most punishing heroes, namely the Timbersaw, is on the other side already, so I guess they might not care that much. The only thing I'm hoping that they're not going to do is snowball like as all 5 almost into
No
Chronosphere.
pun intended. Either way, Witch Doctor picked up by Scary Faces, so as I mentioned, would have comboed well with the Tusk certainly, and they will pick it up for themselves. Very greedy draft thus far from Duza. They're going to pick up the Ursa. Not sure if they'll put him into the safe lane role. Perhaps he goes into the jungle. Timbersaw definitely can be run in the off lane. They can run the Slark in the mid if they choose to do so. He may not have the best time. They could put the Omni up against the Slark, and he'll do fairly well against most melee matchups. And if they were to get a better mid laner, they would probably have stronger lanes than Scary Faces, having to put that Omni in a core role after picking up that Witch Doctor. But either way, things going to be very interesting in this early game in terms of lane matchups.
Oh, most certainly so. I mean, I guess Tusk snowball into Ursa, clap just into right clicks might be a pretty decent combination most of the time, but I don't know if it's actually going to work out. It's definitely greedy, like you mentioned. Enigma does get banned out now, I guess, thank God, although Tidehunter might still be a possibility. Then again, how would an Enigma have fit in the lineup anyway for Scary Faces? Would it have meant just Skywrath Mage mid then, Omni off lane, just Faces Void safe, something like that?
It would have had
Enigma
to.
can be mid lane or off lane as well.
Enigma offlane is not bad. Enigma mid lane is a little underwhelming if you ask me. But yeah, I don't really think the Black Hole synergizes very well with the Chronosphere. It's nice to set up for a good Chrono, but you'll have to get a fortunate Black Hole, and we will see Scary Faces go for a hard one position here, so it looks like it could even be Gyro mid, but I would expect Faceless Void in the offlane, Omni in the mid, and Gyro in the safe lane, but we'll see how they end up laning this configuration.
It's definitely a strong combination that Scary Faces has. At the moment though, I'm kind of hoping for an aggressive tri-lane, and although the snowball can maybe just mess up a couple of things, just the triple tri-lane or triple range tri-lane from Scary Faces would be pretty damn strong. Just homing missile, paralyzing cask, as well as just Skywrath Mages, any of his abilities really. But Duza, a Zeus for the last pick. I guess it
So
must be
much
a support
greed.
Zeus, right?
It has to be. I mean, they could put the Ursa in the jungle. That's something, and run dual lanes. That's a definite possibility, but I don't know. I feel like it's a little too greedy from Duza, especially with a lineup that does sport a few stand-ins here. So it will be interesting to see how they fare. We saw Demons run in DAC a jungle Ursa last night, and it was super underwhelming. And I believe that was HGT that was able to punish that pretty heavily. I can't remember exactly if that was the case, but either way, I'm not a big fan of Ursa in the jungle. I think it's a little bit too obvious what he's attempting to do, especially with the Roshan, and they definitely do have a couple of ways to scout the pit for SFZ, and they probably will be pretty diligent in doing that if that's the case. Either way, as we hop in, we'll have a pause for the moment, but SFZ definitely with the more stable draft, if you ask me. Duza certainly with potential, though, to snowball.
They definitely have that, and the one nice thing that they also have for themselves is they don't care too much about the repel. I mean, it's still going to be
Hmm.
nice, yes, but
Hmm.
Timbersaw has some pure damage. Ursa is pretty much more or less only
Yeah.
physical.
Hmm.
The biggest thing might be Slark Pounce not connecting, for example, so they might just have some trouble keeping people in place or keeping them slowed down. So that's
Yeah.
maybe the like most annoying thing. But of course, Guardian Angel, I'm hoping for Aghanim Scepter on the Omni Knight so we can at least globally save people as well.
Hmm. Yeah, one thing to mention to add to your point is definitely the Walrus Punch pierces through that repel, and that's going to offer a pretty good slow. 40% movement slow is pretty underwhelming at level 1, only 2 seconds on that, but it should give them enough time to burst down at least one target, barring some good play from the Omni and the Witch Doctor for sustain. So I definitely do still see the potency of the pickoff potential for Duza, but there's a lot of defensive capabilities here for SFZ. They've got the Ancient Seal, they've got the Omni's Toolkit, the Voodoo Restoration, and the Cask, and even they can drop a Chronosphere defensively if need be. So yeah, not too worried about the repel, but definitely there is some defensive capability for SFZ, and I would overall favor Scary Face's 5-man.
5-man definitely should be extremely strong by them. I mean, just the
Hmm.
Chronosphere itself already might completely wreck Dusa. Just because SFC, not only do they just have the Chronosphere, they have the necessary damage to input into that as well if need be. Cooldown,
Hmm.
Death
Hmm.
Ward, Mystic Flares, just Purification Bombs by the Omni Knight. It, on paper, should be plenty, but sometimes there's like a lineup with Tide Hunter and Nigma, maybe even a Faceless Void in there as well. You're like, no way, the other team just cannot win because they won't ever win a team fight, but sometimes it's kind of overkill. For SFC though, it's not the case, I think. They have a pretty well-rounded lineup, and I definitely favor that to that of Dusa just because Dusa, man, they're gonna have to execute. They're gonna have to win the lanes for one. I mean, they definitely have a lot of power, especially with the Timbersaw hitting level 6 or above.
Hmm.
But I don't know, it's just... Maybe it's just because it's unusual to see such a lineup. It kind
Yeah.
of generates a what the fuck moment.
Yeah, definitely so. And we'll see if the Ursa can get some traction under his hooves. I mean, I feel like a lot of Duza's potential for success does ride on his ability to find some farm here. So I guess a lot of that banks on how they choose to lane this. But yeah, as you mentioned, Timbersaw hitting level 6 is really going to be a key point in the game and something to cue some aggression for Duza for sure. He'll have more or less free reign up against Scary Faces as long as the Skywrath isn't near with that Ancient Seal. I mean, they don't have much reliable lockdown. They do have the Cask, but Chain will usually get off before that bounces, and the homing missile from the Gyro, very unreliable in that sense. Gyro looking pretty pimp, though, for Scary Faces here. I don't know if I've ever seen that helmet at the very least.
Yeah, he was indeed pretty pimp, but... Well, as we do get this game underway, to introduce the lineups as well. So for the side of Dusa, as we get post once again, fun times, but gonna introduce them anyway. Lolik, more or less the only actual Dusa member for them, is going to play the Timber, so heading towards a safe lane. With Collapse on the task, Find the Light playing the Zeus, Feeling Good is on the Earth, and Sobaka, which I do believe means dog in Russian, is on the Slark.
Nice, and not too appropriate for a Slark, but either way, gonna be a dogfight in this one. Should be pretty close. For the side of Scary Faces, Shadowway playing in the off lane on his Faceless Void. He's pretty comfortable on this here. It looks like Quista's gonna pick up the one position gyro, but may take it to that middle lane. State 21, usually the mid lane player for Scary Faces, is picking up the Omni Knight with a Bash, playing on the Witch Doctor, and Eknart gonna round things out on the Skywrath Mage.
So it's going to be the defensive tri-lane after all. Can't say it's overly surprising. I think Duza might be expecting an aggressive tri-lane of their own. They are heading towards the top lane. Sometimes you just go as 5, but since the Timbersaw is already bottom lane, I think Duza are attempting to kind of dodge at the moment, which is not going to work out because I'm not too sure if Scary Faces, if they just didn't want to go aggressive tri-lane or they're
anticipating
the dodge. I don't know, man. It's pretty much, unless we have like a winner's interview, we're never gonna know.
Yeah, definitely so, and I don't know about feeling good in a support role on this Ursa here. Max Earthshock, maybe?
I guess it's just gonna try to jungle. Well, that would be so much better in your own jungle. Maybe they must be expecting the aggressive tri-lane. I think there's like no other way this situation would just take place otherwise.
Yeah, perhaps he looks to go into the dire jungle here, but with that defensive tri-lane, he probably will have to rotate back. Scary Faces has blocked up one of his camps if he does go back to the Radiant jungle, but he will have more than enough to find his farm there if that's his choice. He picks up a level in Fury Swipes at level 1, so it doesn't look like he's going to be in lane unless this is a support Slark, and we'll be surprised to see Feeling Good stick around here if that's the case.
So continuing in the mind game thoughts, if Scary Faces were anticipating a dodge, then I don't think they would have placed this Observer Ward down to block the double pull. I think so, at least. So I guess this is going to be a surprise maybe for both sides, but triple melee tri-lane, man. I guess just Tusk snowballing to pounce is pretty damn decent, and it's gonna be Slark support at the moment. Ursa is the one being on the lane and farming.
Yeah,
first pick, support Slark, man. Best bro, best.
I don't know. Best draft EU. But either way, Sentry Ward's going to be here for this Observer, and it looks like Xnark going to try and deny that up. There's no sentries currently in the lane for Duza, so all they can do is stand on this Observer Ward and protect it for now. But it looks like, Feeling Good is the farming one here. Cascade is going to bounce through, and the Rocket Barrage doing quite a bit of work onto the Tusk, but he's got the Snowball defensively, so he can channel that up if need be. Going to be a little bit of harass damage, and that'll allow Eknart to D-ward here. Snowball is going to be channeled up into Quista, but they are underneath the tower here. Shards are actually going to block Quista out, and they don't have any kill potential on him after that. However, you do see the potency of this triple melee lineup if they do catch a Snowball.
How the hell did those ice shards go awry like that? I mean, shouldn't they have procced on the Gyrocopter rather than before somehow? I don't know, but I guess Gyrocopter a little bit lucky with that.
Maybe a little bit of an itchy trigger finger there for Collapse, and he procced those a little bit early, but either way, elsewhere on the map, a little bit of an advantage in the mid lane for Zeus, but State 21 should be fine to find his farm there. A little bit of an advantage for the Timber as well, but Shadowway with the Poor Man's Shield, not going to take too much harass from this Timber, aside from the Whirling Death, and you have seen him opt to skill it up here for Lolik in the 1v1.
Mid lane, there's a haste on Collapse though. This Snowball is going to be so damn fast State. He's so low on mana as well. Doesn't have a point into repel. I think this is going to be a kill. They need a little bit more, but the pounce does connect, so I think this is going to be the first blood. Although Purify comes out so far. He's going to go down first. Oh my god, State 21. He turns it around. He's going to go for Zeus next. Collapse. He's tanking the tower, but Bottle charges. Oh my god.
Beautiful. Beautiful play from State 21, and the Tusk barely gonna make it out here. 2 for 1 in the mid lane, both solo kills going the way of the Omni Knight. I believe he did fall before the Zeus there. Has to check the chat.
No, he killed the Zeus before he died himself.
So he did get the experience for that as well. He's gonna pick up the level 5. He's a full level ahead of the Zeus now, and rotation thwarted there from Duza. If they get him down just a second faster, he doesn't get that purification off, but either way, dings him up, he gets the repel off, and finishes off the Zeus as well.
Yeah, that was so damn crazy, and really just fast on his feet as well for the Omni Knight. I do believe he did ding with the first kill, right? Onto Sobaka, so immediate repel after that as well. Sometimes players like fail to skill up fast enough or something like that, but he was definitely on top of his game. Really nice bottle charging as well between just getting right-clicked.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, yeah, oh god. Beautiful
It feels
stuff.
almost like a pub game in that they don't know if Feeling Good or Sabaka is going to farm. If Sabaka was not going to farm, I'm not sure why he would skill up Essence Shift. The Dark Pact's a lot more effective in terms of the nuke damage. They will channel up a snowball here into Quista, though. Shards are going to connect this time, but the Rocket Barrage is doing a lot of work, and the Flak Cannon was there as well. Aknard is probably going to be the next to drop here, though, with the Overpower. Feeling Good hitting very hard and quickly, and they'll pick up another 2 kills in this aggressive tri-lane, and that'll look to even things out in this one. 3-2 is your score, 4 minutes in. Nice little engagement for Duza.
Yeah, first of all, I think Scarf Mage completely mispositioned himself. He has the range advantage. There was no reason for him to go into melee range like that. I mean, his spells have pretty nice range, so does the right click. And had Abash had been level 3 while they come in, level 2 Paralyzing Gas would have bought a hell of a lot extra time, I think. Gyrocopter definitely still would have died, but I think they might have gotten a counter kill at the very least or something like that, or not die on the Skyrap. So definitely good for Duza. I mean, the Zeus is still farming really well, although he died mid lane. Same can be said for Lolik as well. Shadow only up to 17 lances compared to 28. Of course, Timber Saw, you cannot really harass him that much. He has the reactive armor, has even a Podal at the moment. But Ice Shards will not connect, unfortunately. But still not looking that bad for Duza. I mean, they're getting some kills. They're getting farm on at least 2 of their cores, or great farm on 2 of their cores, I'd say. So all is well and good.
Yeah, Shadowway is going to ding 6 for his Chronosphere about simultaneously with Lolik. We'll also see Zeus pick up Thunder God's Wrath after this creep in the mid lane. So everyone pretty much hitting their milestones around the same moment. And in this mid game, it's more or less a wash. Farms going slightly the way of Duza, as Quista hasn't been able to find too much into the face of these 3 melee heroes.
Yeah, it's definitely the snowball, maybe a little bit stronger than some might anticipate. Gyrocopter is not like he's the squishiest of heroes. 600 HP. Thanks to the Ring of Pass, he has 8 armor as well. So not doing that bad, but the side pull is there at the moment. Ursa is a little bit farther away, but they're not gonna go on the support. Maybe harass the Slark a little bit, but that's about it. Paralyzing Cast will come out, or actually it will bounce back to the Tusk as well, but he's just gonna snowball. They're gonna go for a bash now. Snowball will reach him just barely on the edge. I think Ice Shark's blocking him a little bit. Easy kill. Gyrocopter will try to come in, but he's gonna have to back off almost immediately. So Rocket Barrage doing a lot of damage to Feeling Good though. But if Quista keeps on chasing, he's gonna run into Zeus.
Yeah, he's got 10 stick charges as well. Feeling Good should have been just fine there regardless. You see the potency of that Ursa Tusk combo thus far, and really, if they had any hero other than Sabaka's Slark for the support role, I feel like they'd be even stronger in this lane. But either way, things still going well for Duza. They will have to back off, however, and give a little bit of space over to Quista now, and perhaps we will see a rotation in from Shadowway sometime soon with the Chronosphere, as well as the homing missile from outside that. That should be quite a bit of damage. However, Quista has opted not to skill that up, opting for the early points in Flak Cannon, which is a little bit unusual after the changes to homing missile.
Yeah, it's pretty much the first Gyrocopter I've seen not go for homing missile. I guess if you're up against a triple melee lineup, just using Flak Cannon for farming does a lot of damage as well at the same time.
Yeah.
But then again, it's pushing the lane out also. So I don't know, just I think homing missile at this point is so great, especially up against mass melee lineup, because they have no way of actually killing the homing missile before it reaches the target.
Yeah, exactly. Without the range, they're going to be hit by it reliably most times. It may take a while. They may be able to back off, but it can at least be used in that defensive manner. And bottom lane, we will see Shards hit onto Shadowway, but he'll be able to time walk out and be just fine for the time being. He's picked up a full Bassi here, interestingly enough, so maybe an Aquila on this Void. Could be a Vlad. That's a little bit unusual. Perhaps just opting for some mana regen as well as the armor early on.
Man, just laning against the Zeus is so damn hard. Although I have to say Omni Knight has done a pretty good job at it anyway. Of course, man, the turnaround early on pretty much set most of it up.
Yeah.
I still am expecting maybe for the Omni Knight to rotate around. He's saving gold up for something. Is it gonna be Blink or Hand of Midas? I mean, what's the choice? What would you pull up this kind of gold for?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it will be. The Blink certainly seems like a viable option here. The Blink allows the Omni to have great
The
positioning,
snowball
and
comes
the
out. They're
snowball's
going for
gonna be
Quista
channeled up.
again.
Yeah, they'll find him under the tower with the overpower and the pounce connecting. That'll do quite a bit of damage. The Thunder God's Wrath will be there on top of the Ancient Seal, though. And the cast bouncing nicely with the Purification. They'll finish off 2. Repel goes out onto State 21. He's got the level in Degen Aura as well. And a Timber Chain through from Lolic, however, will back him off for the time being. Either way, 2 for 1 thus far for Scary Faces. Timber Chain far forward, though, with the Chakra Man, the Whirling Death. They'll bring down Eknart. Snowball is going to land on State 21 as well. He's got a full mana pool, though, and they do have 1 TPing in. That's Quista. Cask is going to bounce through. Purification going to hit hard. Tusk goes down. Cask bounces over to Lolic as well. He's got the max Timber Chain, however, and he will be able to get a little bit deeper and dodge the Rocket Barrage to the east. But State 21, with the help of Shadowway, is going to finish off the Zeus, and overall, it looks like perhaps a 4 for 2 going the way of Scary Faces. So looking really good in that top lane. Good rotations from all of them, and the Chronosphere seems to have been used onto the Zeus.
Yeah, it was just Chronosphere and then the Purification to finish up the kill. They were like, yeah, screw Timber, so it's just so hard to get a kill on him anyway, so let's go for the kills we can guaranteed get. And it worked out fine for them, just to sustain coming out from the Omni Knight, although I guess the Purification wasn't used so much for the heal, more so than for the nuke. But even then, just well done. He did go for the blink as well now, so we know what he was pulling up for. It's gonna leave his mana pool maybe a little bit shallow, even with having the bottle, but I guess Arcane Boots are gonna be next anyway. Unless you go for like a mass combat Omni Knight, just trying to chase people down, like SNY, hit them, I don't know. Radiance, Omni.
I mean, I doubt it. I feel like it's just for a good positioning so that when the Chronosphere does get off, he can reliably get off the Repel, as well as that Purification beforehand. And Omni Knight really does benefit from good positioning. He doesn't really need to be in the front lines. He can counter-initiate with that Repel and take off a certain debuff. So I really like the Blink pickup for State 21, and it'll allow him to be involved in a lot of these engagements and pick up some momentum in terms of at least experience. Bottom lane, Shadowway farming up quite well. He did opt for that Aquila, so that explains the Bassi earlier, but it's still quite a ways away from Mask of Madness if that's going to be his choice here. Meanwhile, looks like a solo kill. Actually, they're going to find a big engagement top lane. Call down comes through with the Cask. They will find 2 return kills for the death of Quista. But Lolic going to finish off the Omni Knight. Death Ward is going to be popped, though, under Ancient Seal. Well played from Abash and Eknard to find another 3 for 2, going Scary Face's way in the top lane. Unfortunately, most of the experience picked up by Abash, but he is now level 7 on the Witch Doctor. And meanwhile, they're going to find another. That'll be Eknard retreating to the base with the Thunder God's Wrath. And Ursa looking for the Roche, but he's going to be scouted out by the illusions from Shadowway.
If Shadowway himself had gone a little bit closer to Roche, just time walk in, easy kill onto the Ursa. But Ursa running the right direction as well with the face boots, pretty damn speedy. I mean, nice attempt to go for the Roche, but it's just a little bit unlucky that Faces Void managed to have Illusion Rune. At the moment, the Zeus coming in with Tusk. They want to go for any kind of kill, but State 21, he's around, and I think they saw a Purification onto Quista as well. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, for a Zeus, it's not hard to blow up anybody, although will there be a repel in time? Yes, there will.
Yeah, he probably could have popped the Purification beforehand and waited for the Snowball to be channeled, but he'll dissuade them from any aggression and TP's in from Eknard here. He's got the Mystic Flare in tow as well. Support's doing very well in terms of levels, 1 ahead of both the Slark and Collapse's Tusk thus far are the Skywrath and the Witch Doctor. So things still looking pretty good for Scary Faces here, although Lolic is beginning to hit critical mass in the mid-game. He's got his Arcanes up as well as a bottle and 1200 gold. He's going to find his level 10 pretty soon as well.
I mean, Timber's is just so damn scary. If he reaches a hero with all of his spells, that hero is more or less dead unless you're repelled. Even then, you might take a lot of pure damage if there are trees around for the Whirling Death. I mean, Timber Chain is pure damage anyway. So that hero is just freaking retarded to play against. If you're a support hero, at least Skyriff Mage has some way to deal with him. And as we saw, the support duo actually managed to kill him as well, with just a nice Death Ward and Silence. So Baka though might be in some trouble, although Shadowway, he popped the Crown as well. Even catches Collapse with that. He's gonna leave Sobaka to be in the Shadow Dance. Purification Bomb. He gets the bash
nice
to follow.
Bash.
Oh man, Snowball. I wish he would have waited with the Snowball a little bit, but are they gonna keep on going loyally? He joins the fight as well. Find the Light has the haste. There's no way to chase him down. Time Walk is available. Silence into Loyalic, which will end now. Time Walk final comes out. State 21. Repelled up. Should be fine against Loyalic. Even goes for a little bit of counter harass. Another Timber Chain through. Under the tower. Come on, Shadowway. Go for the man mode. Go for the bash. Never mind. A little bit too late. As in the meantime, Abash will get chased down by Find the Light. Haste too strong as Shadowway. Well, he mispositioned himself. Timbersaw found him to be an easy kill as... Well, never mind, what? Apache didn't even die, are you kidding me? Just did it death ward from the high ground and turn things around?
Yeah, the Timber coming through, though, and finding another. The Repel will be there from State 21, but Lolik should have enough mana for a chain fairly soon. We'll be able to get away, and he'll find an easy double kill. Feeling good, rotating in, feeling pretty strong at the moment, but State 21 should be survivable enough. He'll blink out as well. So overall, very good engagement for Duza in the bot lane, particularly for that Timbersaw, and he'll pick up a blink of his own 14 minutes in.
Just... I think Gyrocopter had he TP'd in. I'm not too sure if it would have helped because the Chronosphere was already used, so don't have any reliable setup for the cooldown. But it's just the Timbersaw doing whatever he really wants. Just going around, Timber chaining through.
And that's something we spoke to the draft from Scary Faces. If they don't have that Ancient Seal on that Timbersaw, he's going to do a lot of work in terms of his elusiveness and his ability to be mobile in these engagements. And you see how much damage he does early on. He's sitting at level 11. That's top of the board. And now that level 2 Chakram going to make his toolkit ever the more dangerous here. And he's pretty intimidating with that blink as well. Can jump in right for a close range chain and Whirling Death and an easy hit on his Chakram. And as you mentioned, if he hits any of these heroes with his full toolkit, they're more than likely dead, barring a very well-placed Repel from State 21.
So, if you are the Timbersaw now with the blink, who is the primary target? I mean, probably you're going to go for any kind of pickups you can, of course, but if it should be a 5-on-5, who do you actually target?
Well, I mean, I would bring down the Skywrath first and foremost, just because he's really the only person that he needs to worry about. And even with the Repel, Skywrath's so low in base HP that he should be able to bring him down. Top lane, they let the Mystic Flare half off onto Collapse, and we'll see Liliko go exactly for Eknart there, but he'll get purified up, and he'll be surviving for the time being. However, blink forward from State 21, and the Thunder God's Wrath will be there, but he will be able to chop down Tusk, and Eknart going to be finished off now by the Timbersaw. He'll mana up here. Rocket Barrage hitting pretty hard. He'll try to chain away. He does make it as he's bottling up. Call down is going to land here, though. Will the second missile land? It does, and he will get chased down by State 21 with the Degen Aura. Blink forward. One last right click is there from the Omni. Overall, 3 for 3 across the map. Find the Light contributing with that Thunder God's Wrath, and if he didn't, probably would have gone way worse for Duza there.
Yeah, it's... I don't know where the Faceless Void or how he died exactly. I mean, I guess Zeus just kind of schooled them completely bottom lane. Slark was involved as well, man. Just so much crazy action all around. Although feeling good now on the Ursa, has himself a blink. So Duza, they're definitely getting stronger as well. And Scary Faces, every single fight that goes well for them, just Duza can kind of replicate the results and make it even. Just because at the moment, Scary Faces, yes, they have 2 extremely strong cores, the Gyro and the Faceless Void. They are, though, the 5th and 6th position on the net worth.
Yeah, incredible. I was just looking at the net worth, how that triple melee aggressive lane was able to work out here for Duza. They have 3 cores, position 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Overall on the net worth, and the only person above them is an Omni Knight who's really not that scary in this mid game. You really do need your Gyro as well as your Faceless Void to be fat in order for you to see the effectiveness of that Omni Knight. But right now, Shadowway is backing off from a support Slark in the bottom lane, so things very worrisome at this point for Scary Faces in this game 1.
The support Slark is not even that far behind in the net worth of the Faceless Void, for example. And Scarf Mage, he's just piss poor, pretty much. So Duza, they've definitely managed to make this mass melee lineup work with just splitting farm up. Ursa, of course, from some point onwards can easily jungle. Slark has been farming the lane, but Roshan is going on and doesn't look like Scary Faces have any idea about this.
Yeah, Feeling Good's gonna find this one for absolute free. I feel like he did use the ult as well, so a little bit of poor awareness from Scary Faces. They should have known he was in there, but it's free for him. He'll find the full XP bounty as well. That'll give him his level 11, the 2nd level in Enrage, which is not that strong earlier on, but still a very nice level to pick up for this Ursa. And overall, looks like they are closing the gap for Duza, and they're going to start to accrue a pretty hefty advantage here after with that Tricore farming fairly well.
Yeah, and at the moment, the Scarf Mage did choose to max out Arcane Bolt. I mean, damage-wise, as well as... I mean, it increases the damage, plus the cooldown of it, I think. I guess it's nice, but just more points into Ancient Seal maybe would be a little bit better, and just making absolutely sure that Timbersaw will properly get shut down in the fights.
Yeah, with 6 seconds of silence on that Timber, they will at least bring him down. But Shadow Dance is going to be got off here by Sabaka. Mystic Flare won't be nearly enough to bring him down. Call down will whiff completely, jump forward into the Snowball. The Guardian Angel is popped, however. They will bring down Feeling Good, but that's just the Aegis. Liko going to get through with a big Timber Chain. He'll bring down Shadow A. He will get caught with a Cask, and the Death Ward is here. That'll bring him down. That's a very nice kill for Scary Faces. Feeling Good will have his blink up fairly soon, but he doesn't get to the high ground, and he'll get purified up and brought down. Lightning Bolt, Thunder God's Wrath from the high ground, but the Voodoo Restoration keeping up Eknar for the time being. Tusk gonna get very aggressive with that Snowball. They'll bring down Quista as well as the Bash Witch Doctor. Stake 21 still pretty survivable under that repel. He will be able to repel once again, and the shards will not hit him. They'll zone him back for the time being, but still going pretty deep is the full lineup of Duza here. It's a 3 for 2 thus far. The Pounce not going to land. Blink out from Stake 21, and he'll be just fine. Overall, though, definitely still a win for Duza.
The Chronosphere just... I mean, the Chronosphere is their key to victory. Yet, if they fail that, they should lose the fight like they did. I think getting the Timber Soil was well enough for them as it is. Collapse, though, might be in trouble. Doesn't have enough mana for a Snowball. Never mind, Stake 21 gonna keep up or give up the chase. I mean,
yeah, he's a little bit... oh, he's going to get picked off here by very nice play up the high ground with that max Timber Chain. He'll bring him down with relative ease. I was going to say State 21 willing to back off. He was only 500 gold away from the full Aghanims, but now he'll be 700 after that death. And unfortunately for him, doesn't use the blink back, and the Timbersaw punishes him for it. So not willing to walk up that high ground, but he pays either way. And things looking very good for Duza now. Taking a look at the metrics, they have almost a 5k net worth lead and 2,500 or so in the way of experience.
Things definitely kind of spiraling for Duza at the moment. It's they are, I think, playing their lineup as kind of they should as well, being really aggressive, yet not grouping up and running into a Chronosphere or anything like that. And they realized the fact as well, once the Chronosphere was used, that there's nothing that Scary Faces can actually do to punish them anymore. So, I don't know, man. Scary Faces, if I was them, I'd be a little bit worried about how things are going. I mean, Fitz's boy did not go for the Midas, so I'm not too sure if he's even going to be able to be more than a utility void this game.
Yeah, and it looks like Quista's going for kind of a cookie-cutter build thus far. He's got the Belt of Giant Strength and a Blade of Alacrity, so maybe a Sanjin Yasha is the build for Quista. But we've seen recently he's been too afraid to farm these lanes, and that is the presence of this Timbersaw, who's currently sitting in the trees. He will get scouted out, but he's going to blink forward. Two-man Whirling Death. The chain is going to whiff, but he will bring down Quista with the help of the Thunder God's Wrath. Rocket Barrage bringing him pretty low as well as the call down, but Abash is going to finish off Find the Light with a nicely placed Death Ward, and it will be a 2 for 1 overall, going the way of Scary Faces across the map. And the Timbersaw will be able to rotate back, but regardless, they get Quista, who was the highest farmer aside from the Omni Knight on the side of Scary Faces. So still chopping down that gyro, definitely worth it for Duza here, although they do feed over 2 kills for it.
Yeah, it's just the Slark getting picked off mid lane. The Scarf Mage managed to get the Ancient Seal before the Dark Pact. Then the Omni Knight blinked next to him to slow him down, and Mystic Flare on top of their heads. After that, Chakram though, trying to slow down the push, State 21 just sitting in it like a man. Although Ice Shards will still block his path, TPs are coming in, it's a Slark. Well, Timbersaw went forward, but I was expecting the Slark to come. Oh, the Chronosphere will catch too. Do they have enough for Lolik though? The stun comes out, and State 21 pops the Guardian Angel. There's the cooldown as well. Will land on at least 2 heroes. The second bounce and on the same amount. Feeling good. He came in, yet had to run away straight away. Quista though in trouble. Purification State. No, he didn't heal the Gyrocopter. Didn't get the damage onto Subaka either from that Shadow Wave. Still just running around kind of aimlessly on the Faces Void. Will go for the man fight, but the tower helping out. He's gonna lose against the support Slark. Oh man, Collapse. Doesn't even get the Water Sponge, but it's enough for the kill. It's a 5-man wipe, and did they really only kill the Ursa?
It's a triple kill for the Slark. They only got the Ursa. As you mentioned during the fight, I feel like that was a huge misplay from State 21, opting to heal himself over the Gyrocopter there. And if he heals Quista, not only is he going to keep the Gyro up doing damage with that Rocket Barrage, he's also going to do some damage to 2 heroes from the side of Duza. Not able to get that done. As you mentioned, Shadow A walking around with that Repel, feeling pretty beefy, but he was taking tower hits, and for his troubles, he drops as well. Huge win for Duza, and it seems like at this point things are really getting out of hand for Scary Faces, and I'm not sure that they do have the mechanics to come back in this one.
It's definitely going to be hard. I mean, if Faces Void had a Midas and had like Omni Knight level so far, I guess, for this game. It would be fine for them still. Maybe like get a double ultimate at one point somewhere along the line and actually be able to output damage yourself as well. They might still get a kill. Never mind, Sobaka. Should be fine. And this support Slark, I mean, early on I guess he didn't do all that much, but he's definitely kind of catching up.
All of a sudden, he's with the Tricore on the net worth chart, 5th overall, and not even far behind the Omnis, ahead of both the Void and the Gyrocopter, and he's been able to pick up a set of drums as well as 1900 gold, so he can opt for another Blink Dagger for himself, and that will be 3 Blink Daggers for the side of Duza, if I recall correctly, and that's a lot of initiation power for them, aside from the
Chronosphere Sobaka gets caught mid-pounce. Oh my god. Well, it's
Shadowway's gonna fall for it, however, and the Snowball is a little bit late to grab up the Slark, but it's still a 1-for-1 despite a good initiation, although Collapse is gonna drop here to the Death Ward, but jump forward from Feeling Good. He's gonna chop down the Witch Doctor, jump forward from Lolik with the Chakram there. Purification damage is there, though, on the jump forward from State 21 with the Arcane Bolt. They'll bring down the Timber Saw. Finally, a Ancient Seal gotten off onto the Timber, and you see how effective that is versus Lolik despite his levels of farm, and a little bit of a win mid lane for Scary Faces despite losing their Faceless Void.
That just looked so funny to me, having the Chronosphere mid-pounce. Quista though mid and has to be a little bit careful. I mean, the burst damage from Zeus is so crazy. But he has the Yule Scepter, does dodge that Homing Missile with it, and Homing Missile only level 1 anyway. But I think Timbersaw also picked up a Yule Scepter, yes he did, so Ancient Seal from now on won't be half as effective, unless the Scarlet Mage comes from God knows where and like halfway into the fight already when the Yule Scepter has been used.
Yep. It looks like it will be a Sanjin Yasha build for Quista here as well. So, I mean, it's a decent item on Gyrocopter. I feel like he needs a little bit more, but he does have the H-Dom for the lifesteal as well. He's going to need a BKB at some point, albeit not too effective versus the Timber as well as the Ursa. But for the Zeus and the Slark, in the very least, I feel like the Gyro needs a BKB, and generally you will see a Gyro build into that. But yeah, as you mentioned, Yule Scepters are going to be nice for Lolik as well as Find the Light, but I feel like they may set up the call down for Quista in these 5-man engagements, so certainly still something to be worried about. Of course, they can be used as well to dodge the call down, so a little bit of a double-edged sword in that manner.
Almost certainly so, but Sobaka on the Slark has himself a blink now as well. Definitely not as fast as a pure core Slark might have gotten it, but I mean, network-wise, he's doing really well for himself. I mean, compare that to the Faceless Void. Faceless Void just has nothing. Just now got the Mask of Madness. So, game is going pretty damn well. Roshan gonna respawn as well, Lolik. Don't Timber Chain away, man. It's gonna respawn right now, I swear. So, he's gonna wait it out. Ursa can easily go get it. Ursa also has a BKB finish, so might even be able to survive his jump in next time.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it is interesting to see Shadowway opt for that Aquila before the Mask of Madness. I mean, he did expect the Mystic Flare and the Purification to be there for most of his Chronospheres, however, so it's certainly understandable for him to go for that extra bit of stats. But either way, Lolik sitting here with an invisibility rune may find something if he wraps onto the bot lane. Smoked up is the Skywrath Mage Faceless Void combo. And Feeling Good may give them a gift here. If he blinks up to the high ground, he will, right into their face. They're going to jump forward. He does pop the BKB, but the Chrono is going to be committed, and it's well worth a kill on the Ursa. However, it does catch Eknart on the edge, and Find the Light will come in with a Lightning Bolt. There's a Thunder God's Wrath as well. He'll be used up, and Eknart will look to back off here. Nice Ancient Seal from the Fog, and the Time Lock will get off under the Ancient Seal as well. Flak Cannon should be able to kill off the Zeus, but he'll get earned up defensively, and the Homing Missile is going to catch Lolik there, but the Rocket Barge and the Call Down doing tons of work on to Collapse. He will fall on the Tusk. Lolik will have to back out. Sobaka a little bit far behind enemy lines. Time Walk forward from Shadowway is a little bit short, however. He will kill off that Sigil for a free 100 gold. And overall, 2-for-1, going the way of Scary Faces in that drawn-out engagement. So a little less people dying than was expected. But jump forward from Lolik. He's going to get the Chakram and the Whirling Death on 2. Purification will be onto Quista this time, but the Pounce Dark Pact will finish off Shadowway. Repelled up, Gyrocopter is going to go underneath this tower looking for the Timbersaw. He'll be able to chain to the north, though, and we'll be just fine. Sobaka looking to find a Pounce here. Repel is going to expire in just a second. Sobaka jumps forward with the Blink. He's going to find the Pounce. Purification. Mystic Flare will be there. It's going to split between two heroes, however. And Quista will fall here. Eknart looking to find Sobaka. He'll get the Shadow Dance off beforehand, though. and the Arcane Bolt not going to tick him down. However, State 21 has chased down Feeling Good. He will have to pop the BKB once again to dodge that Arcane Bolt. Will be able to blink away. The Eul Scepter is there, however, from Lolik. The Repel will get off from State 21. He's still up. He's going to blink forward and finish off Sabat. Cover of Repel will be successful in doing so, as his comrade in Eknart does fall to Lolik, and very chaotic engagement there. Overall, Scaryface is losing quite a bit, however, as Feeling Good was able to blink out after dying the first time. Would have been a very costly death if he had died a second time.
So they're going for the Roshan now, but Chronosphere just came off cooldown. And he's gonna pop it as well, catches two, but Lolik, he's on the side, has the Eul Scepter up, does get slammed by Roshan, Feeling Good. He has to kill him, nope, not enough. Shadow Wave, he got bashed by Roshan after Lolik left the Rosh pit. Are you kidding me right now? This...
What was the intention with that Chronosphere? I really want to know. Why would you choose to leave Roshan out of it when Rosh was over half HP? Either way, State 21 going to get chopped down pretty easily here, despite having the Repel. Death Ward will be cancelled immediately. Snowball up to the high ground. Shard's going to finish off a bash as well on the Witch Doctor. It's actually Ursa finding the kill. This will also be a free Roshan, despite the call down coming in here. Will it kill off the Timber? No, he'll Eul's up and mech, and he'll be just fine. Homing Missile gonna fly through. It probably will hit up on the Tusk here, but he'll use a defensive Snowball, and right back into the Rosh pit they go. Should be able to finish him off fairly quickly. Feeling Good gonna be able to tank this up with the Overpower and that Morbid Mask. He's also being healed up with an Urn here, and only with Eknart and Quista, no call down available, they will be able to bring this down fairly easily. Tusk actually going to be the one to pick up the Aegis, interestingly enough, for Duza, but they are starting to accrue a pretty significant advantage in 10k XP, and Ursa spamming out Collapse, who picked up the Aegis.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't intentional. I mean, I don't know. I see no point why give the Aegis to Tusk. Guaranteed mech usage, I don't know. It's a little bit weird for sure, but to be honest, before this whole Roche thing, the bottom lane engagement, although it didn't go that great for Scaryface, at least Quista, he was getting up there in net worth, so Charcopter was getting a little bit scarier. Now, they just fed away so many heroes in a row.
Yeah.
First of all, the Faceless Void Chronosphere was... I mean, didn't get a single kill. I'm not sure if his Mask of Madness was on cooldown, or did he really just totally only get bashed by Roshan? His positioning himself there was bad, so Walker comes in
and then bashed, so I mean, it was a big misplay to leave Lolik out of it. He'll jump forward with the Chrono here, and he will probably be able to bring down Sabaka with the help of the Mystic Flare. Cass going to bounce through as well, and a jump forward body block from State. He's actually going to absorb the pounce. Well played by him. Mid lane, Quista will get a Rocket Barrage off, but that's an invisible Zeus. He doesn't know he's here. He will drop a Lightning Bolt and be able to back off shortly thereafter. So Chronosphere is still down now for Scaryfaces, but a decent pick off for them.
Yeah, definitely some pretty nice XP and gold coming from that. I mean, Slark is pretty farmed after all in this game. This game though, it's... I don't know, it definitely feels like a pop game. Just let's go for random aggression. Abash though, Aghanim Scepter definitely might be the just element in the game for them to just kind of skyrocket themselves back. It just mostly though comes down to this Faceless Void being more or less only a Chronosphere. That's pretty much all he is.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have much damage. The Aghanims is a very nice pickup. I definitely am an advocate for that rush, but simultaneously, we're going to see an Aghanims come out from Find the Light on the Zeus, and that's going to do a crap ton of damage to these squishier supports, especially Eknard, although he does have a casual Vit booster, so it is fairly tanky for a level 15 Skywrath Mage. Either way, we will see a smoke through the Dire Jungle from Duza. They may find out State 21 here, but he does have the Repel if he gets it off. And he will get it off before the snowball pops. However, Ursa being able to chop him down with the Walrus Punch to slow him. They may be able to bring him down, but the Ancient Seal is there from Eknart, and he will cancel the blinks. However, blink back from State 21. He'll be able to purify himself and get Yules up, but he will be finished off by Lolik here. Mystic Flare is going to be shot a little bit awry from Eknart. He'll pay with his life as well. As you mentioned earlier, a little bit of poor positioning from this Skywrath thus far. He'll feed his life over. That's 2-0. Both down without buybacks for Duza, and they'll translate this into an easy tier 2 push.
Actually, nobody in the game at the moment has buyback. It's not that common this year. I guess it's not that late into the game, so teams not even thinking about it. With especially the Radiant side, I mean, only one tower has been destroyed. Oh, the Crosshair catches all 5 though. There will be a day 4 with the Aghanims and the cooldown as well. My god, the combination, it's filthy. Thank God that they had the Aegis on Tusk. Finally, it's still alive, as is Sobaka, but not for long. They only kill off 2, funny enough, with such a combination snowball. By some time, Lolik comes in. They're actually going to get some counter kills. Quista does not have a BKB yet. Time Walk is there. Collapse pops his mech. They're just going to be fine. And even with such a combination, Duza, they're just too far ahead by now. They're going to get Shadow Wave. Abash might be able to survive, but man, that was...
How do they lose that fight? Like... Oh my goodness, the Shadow Dance got off there from Sabaka. He was able to disengage and heal right back up. Lolik was able to get out with his Eul Scepter as well. The Aegis was up on that Tusk, and in the end of it all, they only bring down 2. They do save their racks for now, but you expect them to bring down a lot more with an Aghanim's level 2 Death Ward into the call down, into the Chronosphere on 5, and perhaps if the Ursa did have the Aegis rather than the Tusk, they find even more off the back of that respawn. He didn't use his BKB there, so if he did have the Aegis, he would have spawned with an 8-second BKB and probably would have been able to chop down at least 1, if not 2, of Scary Face's heroes.
Well, they wouldn't have had the mech though after the respawn. I don't know, but I think this game is over now in the sense that Ursa, he has his Diffusal Blade,
Yeah.
so Omni Knight more or less going to be useless. The Double Guardian Angel might go through, but there's also one other item pickup that... Yeah, the Hex up on Timbersaw.
Yeah, the Diffusal Blade is a very good item on Ursa. Increases his effective DPS, as well as good, of course, against the Omni Knight. And it isn't the best in terms of buffing up in Rage, because he does need strength for that, or at least HP, raw HP. But he is an Agi hero, so buffs his damage regardless. Also, the Mana Break is very nice, and you can chop down an Omni Knight's mana pool pretty quickly underneath the Overpower with 6 quick attacks there. So I do like that pickup from Feeling Good. I don't feel like he had any other choice regardless. So yeah, with the Hex coming out from Lolik as well, Scary Faces are going to be very hard pressed to find any favorable engagements unless they get the combo off as they did top lane with their full 5-man roster.
Oh god, well, Scary Faces, they I think we're lacking still the Omni Knight as well as Scarif Mage from that 5-man chrono, but what are the odds that they're actually gonna get another 5-man chrono? I'd say pretty damn slim.
Especially with all these blinks here from Duza, as well as the Eul Scepter from Lolik and Find the Light. So he has a Force Staff of his own as well on the Zeus, so very survivable. So Aghanims is going to do a lot of work. He's got the level 3 Thunder God's Wrath, is level 19, just second to Lolik's Timbersaw currently. And the Timbersaw will opt for an Aghanims after going back for this Hex here. But Hex is going to be huge in this engagement if they can get it off onto Quista or the Omni Knight. And Shadowway is going to need a very nice chrono, leaving his team outside of it, grabbing up most of Duza's lineup here, as they do have quite a few ways to mitigate some damage in the chrono. Meanwhile, Collapse is going to get caught with a Mystic Flare. He's going to try and TP out under the Mystic Flare, and he will be punished for that. So free, easy pick off. He'll be down for 50 seconds without buyback. Not sure if Scary Faces can make anything happen off this one, as they do have their lanes being pushed in by Sabaka currently.
So Subaka, does he have his Skadi quite yet? No, he needs a little bit more gold, but not too much. And are we going to see a chrono? Nope. Waiting for the Shadow Dance. There's the chrono. They're going to wait it out. Call down, easy use as well. If they block the pounce, it's going to be all fine for them. Never mind, no pounce even there. So they get the kill. Definitely worth a chrono usage in this case, I believe. And well, we're finally going to have a Vladimir's offering finished for Ursa.
Yeah, so he'll finish that up. He's looking pretty good at this point. 3rd overall on the net worth. And Quista has finally taken the throne in terms of net worth. Been able to farm up with that flak cannon while a lot of these engagements have been happening. And 2,600 gold on him as well. He can finish up a Satanic fairly soon. Has opted for the BKB, so that will allow State 21 to get the repel off on either himself or onto Shadowway. And it looks like Shadowway is building into an Aghanims with the point booster as well as the Ogre Club. He's only about 650 gold from that, and that'll be a nice pickup for them, as Lolik may get caught out in the tree line here, or may even find a solo kill of his own. But it looks like no aggression going to be found from him or onto him at this point.
So Scary Faces, they are behind by about 12k gold, as well as, well, only about 14k in XP. But I mean, as long as they have that Chronosphere up, and as long as they don't completely waste it, they will have a chance for a pretty long time in this game. Still mid lane, they're trying to go for Lolik, but immediate Eul Scepter after that. Silence, of course, has a Hex as well if need be. Not going to use it yet. Slowed down, Mystic Flares there, Shadow Wave comes in as well. Whoa, they do get the kill. So not too shabby at all, although Quista in the meantime pops his BKB. Is he going to survive the physical damage? For now he is, at least. Once the BKB ends, there's going to be a purification waiting for them. Peeling Wood, silenced up, has to pop his own BKB. Still slowed down though. Quista pretty damn low on health, not too sure if he should keep on chasing. Well, it's fine in the end, he survives, they get the kill. So 2 important heroes down, they might get collapse as well. Snowball is formed, but Snowball will get him closer to the enemy. Or well, they're gonna have the task closer to them. And with this, Omni Knight more or less has enough gold for that refresher orb as well.
Yep, well played from Quista there to stay up. Stake 21 repelled him instead of purifying him and then repelling him. That was a little bit questionable in my eyes. But either way, he survives, and they do find a very, very favorable engagement bottom. They're going to immediately smoke up. They will look for this Zeus as they saw him drop a lightning bolt, but may not find him. However, they may find Sabaka to the north. If their smoke pops behind this tree line, it does. Shadowway going to stop cast the Chronosphere. Very well played by him. He will drop down with the Ancient Seal there, and Eknart supporting from the outside. They will find Sabaka, and Scary Faces slowly clawing their way back into this one. Quista starting to get fat. He's picked up that Reaver as well as the recipe. That's a full Satanic to come over to him on the courier shortly.
So as long as Omni Knight will always be ready with, or if a guy gets hexed and he gets repelled afterwards, does that dispel the hex?
I believe it does. I believe it works in much the same way as a Aphotic Shield. So, yeah, as we mentioned earlier, the Blink pickup is absolutely essential for this Omni in his ability to stay far back out of these engagements and look to counter-initiate.
I mean, to be honest, I guess the repel isn't that important, because as long as you have the Aghanim Scepter, Guardian Angel up, Quista, he should not die to purely the Zeus, I think, even being hexed up. If the Guardian Angel comes in fast enough to this, of course.
Yeah, GA is so good versus the heroes that Duza do have. And 8 charges still, on the Diffusal Blade for Feeling Good. So he hasn't been able to use one of those quite yet, and is going to start to need to getting those off and being able to bring down a target under his Overpower. If he wastes too many attacks under that Overpower, even if he gets the charge off, he probably won't be able to burst down any of these targets. Most of them fairly tanky. Even the Skywrath Mage has a full Rod of Atos as well as an Ultimate Orb, and we saw him use that Rod of Aoi in the last engagement onto the Tusk. They will get scouted out by a Frozen Sigil here, but no aggression going to be found. We will see Duza group up in this bot lane and look to find a push onto this tier 2, and perhaps this is the engagement that decides the game.
Well, at what point do you think it might be worth... Oh, nice Ice Shards, but no follow-up for now. But at what point do you think it might be even worth... Oh god, the jump in, never mind, blinks out. Let me finish my sentence, dudes, but... Would it be worth it at any point to just repel up the Witch Doctor for his Aghanim Scepter ultimate?
If they get off a decent chrono, then that Aghanim Scepter ultimate is going to do a lot of work. But yeah, as a fallback plan, that does sound pretty good, especially considering that Quista has his BKB up. Shadow A can just get purified, and that'll probably keep him up for a bit. He's got the Aghanims now, so 1800 HP plus 4 levels in backtrack. His effective HP is pretty darn good, so I definitely would be a fan of seeing that. I mean, the Witch Doctor still can get burst down by Lawlick, but with the Aghanim Scepter, 1500 HP repel, nothing to shake a stick at. It looks like he's actually building into a BKB of his own on top of that. So more and more so, they are giving the repel over to Shadowway. He'll find the chrono on Sabaka before the Shadow Dance gets off, but the shards will be there. Call down. Mystic Flare is there though. Sabaka's gonna drop, and the ward is channeling very well. Feeling Good dropping extremely low. He's gonna get put into the snowball. GA is up here. Lawlick gonna get thrown in the air. Eknart will be brought down. Feeling Good gonna go in, but the Guardian Angel is up. Maledict comes out onto him. Some bashes are here from Shadowway. He's dropping low though. He's gonna time walk away. They will bring down the Ursa with the Flak Cannon. Bot back did Sabaka. He'll bring down Quista. Shadowway is next to fall. No, the chain gonna miss for the time being, but the Chakram finishing him off. Triple kill going the way of the Timbersaw, and the Chronosphere just not good enough from Shadowway, only finding one. Buyback was used, however, so 5 for 3 overall, going the way of Duza, but they don't have too much push power, so perhaps just a tier 2 off that engagement.
Yeah, as long as it's only tier 2, it's fine, although they might keep on going, even at least force out a few buybacks. And if Scary Faces have to buy back now without gaining anything from it, it's going to hurt them quite a lot, just because Duza, they had that only one buyback, but without the Slark rejoining the fight, there's no way they would have won it like they did. So one buyback pretty much won Duza the entire fight, whereas Scary Faces, if they have to buy back now, they lost the fight anyway. Now they're just going to lose some gold as well. But they're going to lose a tier 3 anyway. Void has to buy back. it's really well played by Duza in a strategical viewpoint. Although Shadowwave might... Come on. Now he doesn't time walk in Chronosphere, man.
Yeah, interesting, especially with the Aghanims. There's no reason to hold on to that ultimate at all. And if you catch even one of those 3 heroes, there's no way the other 2 kill you from outside the Chronosphere. So very questionable play from him there. However, there is 20 seconds now on this Guardian Angel if he doesn't overlap them. So that refresher pickup from Stake 21 could spell a very good engagement thus, or henceforth, for Scary Faces, despite this Diffusal Blade being up. 6 charges still available there for feeling good on the Ursa.
Well, we shall see. At the moment, the suits also working towards a refresher or lots of magic damage to come out as well. So from some point onwards, the Guardian Angels might not cut it, but are they smoked up? Yes, they are. They might be anticipating erosion, but they definitely need more than one hero in the Chrono. Although then again, if they get Sobaka this time around, Sobaka though breaks the smoke, although Lolik gets the blink before Shadowwave gets the Chrono. So that smoke, unfortunately for them, doesn't end up with anything.
At least he doesn't waste the Chrono there, but regardless, probably would have been okay to throw it out with that 60-second CD. However, there was a lot of support inbound if he did with that Chrono, so definitely not too bad there to keep that in his pocket for SFZ. And this will allow them to jump into the pit, and the Arshards will scout them out here. Quista will be isolated because of it. Double Chakram goes in. Quista not going to have to pop his BKB quite yet, though. And the Guardian Angel will have to be popped here. Call down Mystic Flare onto Feeling Good. He's got the BKB covering him up, though. Shadowway is going to pop a Chrono onto 2. Very well placed. It'll keep Quista out of it. The Death Ward doing a lot of work. Feeling Good is going to drop here. Eul Scepter up by Lolik, but Quista is there to bring him down. No, he'll be able to zip up to the high ground. Homing Missile will look to follow him. Purification is there onto Sabaka. He'll have to pounce out. The Lightning Bolt brings Quista really low. He will drop here. The Snowball moving extremely slow, but Abash having to turn tail and run. He'll get hit with the Chakram. That'll finish him off. And overall, 4 down, triple kill once again for Lolik. And the Timbersaw surviving there is absolutely huge. This will give them a free Roshan as well. And Shadowway's Chrono, not bad at all there, but just not good enough with the Death Ward to bring down enough of Duza's lineup. It seems like they're always able to bring these heroes low, but never to finish them off. And now that's a cheese onto Lolik, as well as the Aegis onto Feeling Good.
Lolik, he just did so much damage with the double Chakram there. And not only the damage, also just slowing people down. Gyrocopter, after his Flak Cannon ends, he's not that scary all of a sudden anymore. Because Satanic is all well and good, as well as the Sanj and Yasha. Damage output wise though, you need kind of like a Rapier at this point maybe. At least Backdoor Protection is saving them for a little while longer, but none of them have buyback. And once again, when Ursa bought back, I guess they would have fought, just won the fight this time around better anyway than the last fight with the Slark buyback, but it's something. Sobaka did try to go in. They get the range Rex, melee Rex will fall as well. 1 Rex though, not the end of the world for Scary Faces. But they're just slowly losing like more and more. It's not massive losses at a time, but it's probably going to be enough to, in the end, just kind of cover them and suffocate them.
Yeah, the Blink Hex available for Lolik, sitting on the high ground for a bit, looking perhaps for State 21's Omni Knight, but they should take this tier 2 in the mid for free as well. So Baka picks up the last hit there. He will have a full Scotty whenever he chooses now. He will pick up that point booster from the side shop. Still needs the Oov as well as the ultimate orb, but does have more than enough gold for that. So things looking very scary now for Scary Faces, and Quista just not quite big enough at this point. Did pick up the Crystallis to supplement his damage a bit, but still at this point, level 23 Gyrocopter just not quite big enough. His BKB is down to 7 seconds as well, and they will have quite a few ways to deal with him even under BKB in the Tusk and the Timbersaw as well as the Ursa. But Guardian Angel with the refresher, just not quite enough in that last engagement for Scary Faces.
Yeah, I'm not too sure who it was. I'm not too sure if it was the Faceless one. Oh, it was the Skyraf, right? Ursa jumped the Skyraf, Guardian Angel came out, immediate Diffusal Blade, and Skyraf dead. That's just how easy it was. He did get off the Mystic Flare before at least, so it got some damage done in return. But at the moment, there are just so many items on Duza. Now double ultimate for Zeus as well. That's just so much damage if you don't have a BKB or if you're not repelled at the same time. And I just think for Scary Faces it was a pretty silly idea to even go into Roche like that before. They just don't have a fast enough Roche with, like I mentioned, Gyrocopter not having the massive damage items, and of course, well, Faces Void himself. Still pure utility, only the Aghanim Scepter, Mask of Madness, nothing else.
Yeah, I guess they felt a little too confident with that Chronosphere. Crimson Guard as well has now been picked up by Collapse, and that's going to do a lot of work versus the Flak Cannon of Quista for their entire lineup. And without them being able to bring the entire lineup down with these nice death wards they've been able to channel, with the Crimson Guard, I really fear for their ability to bring down any soul target aside from underneath that Chronosphere.
Well, at least they do get the sentry on a fresh observer ward placed down by Tusk. And to be honest, for Duza to break high ground should be pretty damn hard. The last time they got their axe was just purely because Scary Faces were dead already from a fight outside the base. I mean, the last two times they tried to go high ground, there was like a 5-man chrono, and I'm not too sure how many the second one caught, but at least Scary Faces repelled them. Almost, well, they brought down about the 14k net worth lead down to 6,000 at one point. XP went down to like 2,000, now back up to what it used to be and even more.
Yeah, and they are choking them inside their base with the Slark farming elsewhere. Full Scotty is in check here for Sabaka, but just continuing to farm. They're denying Quista any farm aside from what comes up into the base, and even to farm that, he's going to have to risk his neck in the front lines. So things looking very good for Duza, and as Scary Face is totally choked too within the confines of their base. Quista also having himself pretty vulnerable on these front lines. He's going to dodge ice shards here, but in the meantime, overpowered from feeling good, he's going to chop down that tier 3 as they push in the other lane and just blink out and back off safely.
Duza have pretty damn good positioning as well, especially considering how many melees they have. They just send one hero in the front lines. At the moment, of course, it's rather easy. It's like, yeah, Ursa, you go, you have Aegis anyway. But they've been spread out just as good as the terrain usually allows them to. So no massive Chronospheres means you should be able to just sustain and win the fight. I mean, they're all pretty damn tanky themselves. Even just the Aghanim's Death Ward, which has gotten at least a couple of seconds value every single fight, even that has not been enough to completely kill Duza off.
Yeah, they do have quite a few physically resistant heroes, and now with the Chronosphere dropped onto 2, the Mystic Flare is there as well onto Feeling Good. That'll be the Aegis popping. Oh, that's actually the Ursa going down. Aegis did expire there. Death Ward going to channel. It's not going to do much, but a 2-for-0 going Scary Face's way. They don't lose any of their buildings quite yet, as the tier 3 was being chopped down in the mid lane, and their tier 4s were being aggressed onto by the creeps, but a good engagement for them, and that's 80 seconds plus with both the Zeus and the Ursa down with no buyback. Unfortunately for them, Roshan's still not up for a while, and it just did expire a couple of seconds before the jump in from Shadowway, so perhaps they were waiting on that timing, and if so, very good diligence and good awareness from Scary Faces keeping their timers.
I was so sure Ursa is gonna die there. I mean, at the start, they went for the Zeus. I think Shadowway himself thought like maybe there's still an Aegis, but I feel like just as the Chronosphere came out, somebody was like, Ursa's Aegis expired right now.
Yeah.
It definitely felt like that, an immediate switch of focus. Kill Ursa first. And of course, Zeus died anyway during the Chronosphere. It's a 6-second duration after all with the Aghanim Scepter. But,
Yeah.
I mean, the lineup of Scary Faces, their ultimates are all rather low cooldown. I mean, Witch Doctors is 80, but that's more or less the highest if you don't account Guardian Angel. So they can definitely still fight, and it's already 51 minutes in.
Yeah, I can't believe this game has gone as late as it has, and I can't believe that Scary Faces haven't found some more farm on this Void. It's 51 minutes in. He's only got that Aghanim Scepter, but it's still doing work for Shadowway as we see in these engagements, especially with that level 3 Death Ward now available for a bash with the Aghanims. He's got 1,600 gold, so can find the Mithril Hammer and should be able to get off even more reliable Death Wards once he gets that BKB up. Lolic pushing in the top lane by his lonesome, and Quista still looking to finish off that Daedalus. Does have 4,900 gold now, but needs 1,700 for his buyback, so can purchase up that Demon Edge reliably, but still needs a bit more for buyback as well as the recipe.
Just, I mean, Lolic, what the hell does he even do with his gold at the moment? Does he give the cheese to somebody else and, I don't know, go for like hard, for pure survivability? I mean, Refresher Orb wouldn't make any sense just to get double Hex, so what? Necrobooks for Rat Dota? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say give the cheese over to the Zeus, but he can't really drop any of his items except for the
with
boots.
the surprise Shadowblade Faceless Void?
Yeah, so that's an interesting pickup as well. He'll be able to jump in unabated for most of these chronos. There's no real detection on Duza, as really why would there be? And the Shadow Blade may be what turns the tides here. You never really say that. Shadow Blade on a Faceless Void could be very detrimental, though, in this one to Duza if they're able to clump up and there's a good Chronosphere gotten off there. Either way, they will do some D-warding on the cliff with Sobaka and probably look to find a push off of that. Shadow Blade going to walk out with the Shadow Blade, but he'll not be able to find much here and have to time walk back to the high ground.
Oh man, I just hope to God that he can keep himself clear of Radiant Vision somehow and they're not gonna find out about it. Of course, if he goes scouting, he has to be a little bit wary of Zeus scouting for wards at the same time. Duza, they don't even have to invest for a gem at the moment. Usually, even if there's no invis heroes, you just want to get map control, but they have just infinite lightning bolt spam from Zeus. He definitely has enough mana regeneration to just go around the map, lightning bolt the ground randomly. So the Shadow Blade might be a stroke of genius. I mean, whether it's actually gonna work out, who the hell knows? But it also might be like the one-time thing. Maybe a Blink Dagger would have been just a little bit easier. I mean, at least you get some damage from it, I guess.
He may find the Zeus here under the Shadow Blade. That's fine the light, but he may have scouted him and hit him out recently. Or with the Lightning Bolt. Briefly, I should say.
Suddenly, everybody knows he has a Shadow Blade, so what now?
Yeah, and he has been postured up very far back in his base most of this time, not to reveal that, but it looks like it may have been revealed to the Zeus there, and yeah, now it's a pretty useless item if that was the case. There's also a nice high ground ward here, but a jump forward. He's going to find Lolik in the Chronosphere. The cooldown is there as well as the Purification. They're going to even get the Mystic Flare off. This is a huge kill onto Lolik's Timbersaw, and he's a huge element of their damage in these team fights. He does have buyback, but is down for 90 seconds, and Roshan is up.
Woo!
Quista picks up the Rapier, full Hex as well, picked up by Eknard, and he's going to run into Sobaka here, who does blink forward looking for him, but he's not expecting the Hex. Mystic Flare, Ancient Seal is there as well. Guardian Angel is going to be popped to cover up Eknard, and with the Shadow Dance, Sobaka gonna have to retreat. This will allow them to go immediately into the Roshan pit, but they find the light above the pit here. He's gonna Yule's up, but it's only gonna delay the inevitable, and he drops down for 100 seconds without buyback. They can jump into the Roche pit if they wish to do so. They do have their top wave being pushed in by Collapse, but he's not gonna be nearly fast enough to bring down these structures, and with the Rapier, Quista jumps into the pit, critting for 1,000 each time. When he finishes up that Daedalus, it'll be all the more scary, and there will be an Aegis for this Gyrocopter with that Rapier in tow. His Scary Face is clawing their way back into this one, or what?
So pretty much, I'm gonna check how long ago. So about 15 minutes ago, they were also on their way to clawing their way back. Then they suddenly threw a little bit. Of course, I still have to say that they should have gotten a kill on Sobaka as well.
Yeah.
Once they hexed him up, it was there. I mean, you see the animation of the Dark Pact. So they knew he's going to get rid of the Hex, but Eknard used the Ancient Seal anyway. Had he waited a little bit, I mean, it might still not have been enough in a sense that there would have been Shadow Dance to follow, but at least there would have been a chance. I guess in the end it's not that big of a deal since they got the Zeus anyway, and of course killing Lolik before. Oh, well, what better thing to buy than a Dagon?
Yeah, I don't know how effective this is gonna be. I mean, there's 2 BKBs.
Oh god, the Chronosphere catches 2 as well. Mystic Flare was used just before the death of him. Feeling good though, not taking any damage from Shadow Wave. There's the Hex.
Though.
Well, can they get the kill repel list there? Sobaka doesn't have enough. He has his Eye of Sky finished for some time now. But the Chronosphere, I mean, I was hoping so much more from that, but Shadow Wave himself just... They need the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, they really do, and there's 2 cheeses right now in the game, one on the Slark, one on the Void. Double Shotgun goes out onto Quista. He'll be just fine, though, and they probably have scouted out this Rapier. But the Chronosphere is down, not down for too long. They do, however, lose their Skyrush Mage, and that's their Hex for this next engagement. I was going to say, I don't know how effective that Dagon's going to be. There's a BKB on the Gyrocopter, soon to be a BKB. Oh, now the full BKB is up on a Bash as well, and the Repel from Omni Knight. So he's going to have to choose his targets wisely. Omni Knight has a BKB of his own as well, so 4 of these heroes will have magic immunity at any given moment if he uses the Repel on either the Void or the Skywrath. So I don't know how effective this Dagon's going to be, especially if Lolik gets chronoed up.
Find the Light might be in trouble, Shadow Wave, if he wants to keep on going time walk forward, but they already blinked out. The mobility is great for Duza, there's no denying that. Sobaka does buy up a Basher as well. He's still holding on to the cheese that Duza got like 15 minutes ago as well, probably. So I don't know. Things things are still all very much so in the open. If only Faceless Boy just had like a Daedalus at least or something. If they had gotten a kill on Ursa or one of the two being in the Chronosphere before, things would be so much better for them. I mean, lanes are pushing in. They're still on the back foot, but as long as Krista has the Aegis, it's gonna be fine. I think Duza, there is no point for them to press the issue as long as he does have the Aegis.
Yeah, I don't know where his Crystallis went. I guess that's in the Courier right now. It is, but I feel like he can finish up this full Daedalus as long as he has the Aegis and probably drop those phase boots for the base defense. But either way, he'll probably just sit on this Aegis for now. 4,000 gold is there for him. It's about 2k for his buyback. So finishing up that Daedalus would put him underneath the threshold for that. But either way, he's still looking pretty scary with the Satanic and the Rapier, as well as his BKB. And he does walk out of the base headlong looking for Find the Light. He will be able to force himself back and Yules off this homing missile, however. So Zeus going to be just fine for now. Shadow A scouting out with the Shadow Blade. And they've even pinged out the location of Sobaka currently. If he looks to farm this, he may be caught out. But Shadow's Shadow Blade will expire now, and he may run into Lolik here. It is daytime. He's going to get hit with the Hex as well as the Dagon there. Guardian Angel is going to be popping. He'll be dropping to the double Chakram. And that's a Void down for 90 seconds, perhaps. This is the cue for Duza to go high ground. They baited out the Guardian Angel as well. Eul Scepter up onto Stake 21. He's going to have to refresh and use it again, or just accept his fate and buy back. Instant buyback from the Omni Knight. Quista doing a lot of work here, but the lineup is too spread out from Duza. Deathward is going to channel, however. They'll bring down the Tusk, but not the biggest kill thus far. It will, however, back off Duza for now. They are trying to chase down the Zeus. He will use up the homing missile, jump from the back lines. Guardian Angel is going to be popped. Sobaka going to have to get out. Quista going to be purified up, but they will bring down Abash's Witch Doctor from the Ursa, and the gem is on the deck. However, Sobaka's jumped forward a little bit aimlessly, and he is going to fall here. One last right click from Eknart will bring him down. Meanwhile, Krista's Aegis has been popped. He's trying to get chopped down from Feeling Good, but with the repel, he's going to stand and man fight. They're going to bring down two. That's a double kill going the way of Quista, and Eknart going to find one as well. And Find the Light will be able to TPL, but overall, 4 down for Duza, 2 down for Scary Faces. They had to buy back on the Omni Knight, so 3 overall, but definitely worth the buyback there and the Aegis expense from the Omni Knight on Stake 21, as well as Quista's Gyrocopter. He's got 7,700 gold on the Gyro now. We'll be able to complete up that full Daedalus.
Man, what a freaking fight. Gyrocopter, he was so close to death there as well. Thank God that the Omni Knight was there with the Guardian Angel and the Repel as well. They were like, if our Gyrocopter dies, we're pretty much lost. Especially if like an Ursa gets himself a Rapier. Just imagine him coming in, 6 right clicks. Who the hell can survive that? I mean, pretty much nobody. Also, Quista, he almost lost his Aegis about 15 seconds or 10 seconds earlier than he did. But he got the Satanic off at the last time, and the creep wave came just as he activated the Satanic. All the heroes just were as far as can be from Gyrocopter, but he had the creep to get the lifesteal from. But he did go for a finished up Butterfly instead. I guess it's not a bad choice.
No, not at all. I think like, he can replace the Sanjin Yasha at some point. The Butterfly will give him a lot of effective HP versus the Ursa, as well as the Slark. So I really do like that pickup from him. He doesn't need too much extra damage, but the Daedalus would be really nice if he were to replace that Sanjin Yasha with it. He does have 2,500 gold now, and as I said before, his buyback's about 2k, so should reliably be able to have that buyback without farming too much more. But Abyssal Blade pickup is there from Feeling Good. However, they are going to need an MKB to bring down Quista, at least under his BKB or Repel.
Well, his BKB is down to 6 seconds, but still all close enough to 5. And Dagon is level 5 now on Timbersaw, so there's definitely a pretty nice possibility for them to kill off the Gyrocopter before Scary Faces does much of anything. Although the last fight, I mean, I'm surprised that Scary Faces held on. Ages for the win, first of all, and the buyback on Omni Knight, but Faces Void, he almost single-handedly lost in the game pretty much with his positioning earlier on. But they are alive. Buybacks on the Gyro as well as Skyref, although Gyrocopter probably if he dies, unless he dies almost in the fountain and he can buy back and reclaim the Divine Rapier, his buyback might not even mean anything. So, I don't know, maybe just buying... I guess there's still a chance when you buy back even if you lose the Rapier, so it's smart to save for buyback, but they're in a pretty damn crappy situation, especially with Faces Void not having the buyback.
Definitely so. I'd have to agree with you on that front. Lolik is looking to flank from the backside here. He's got the Dagon and the Hex. He can probably pick off Eknart if he chooses to jump in, but there's no immediate support for him yet. His teammates will have to encroach upon Scary Faces in order to find that. And it doesn't look like that will be the case. Smoke up. Nope. No smoke. I thought I heard a smoke. So Baka is going to be able to pounce out mid lane. And the courier will come over to bring a gem to a bash, but there's no Radiant Observer Wards around here for the time being. And Lolik still behind enemy lines here, looking for a pickoff. Not sure that he'll find it anytime soon.
So the moment of truth is about to arrive. Although mid lane they want to go in Shadow. He's baiting things though. He sees Sobaka. More heroes are about to come. It's a 3-man Chronosphere. He catches all of them. Can he do anything though with the Ice Shards? Screwing him over pretty damn bad. But Omni Knight will survive thanks to the Chrono for now. There's the Guardian Angel. Will get purged off by the Diffusal Weight. Oh god, Aghanim Center. Is it gonna be enough? Abash will get thrown up in there by the Walrus Punch. Quista, he's gonna go down. Oh my god, he will have buyback. Divine Rapier. Sobaka picks it up. This might be GG. Collapse, still alive, state 21, trying to do what he can, but what he can might not be enough, although there's a Maledict on the Timber, so he's still alive, gonna get silenced up, gonna go down. No, the Purify doesn't connect on him. Shadow will finish the kill. Let's find the light. Slow down, Usetter keeps him alive. Gyrocopter back in the fight as well. They need to get more kills. Find the light, he's just way too fast. The Sobaka gets the pounce into the trees, he's still not in the clear. Somebody go after him. Time Walk, they see him, the Hex comes out as well. Silence, they're gonna reclaim the Rapier.
Rapier is on the deck. They'll give that over to Shadow. He's trying to TP out under the Chakram. He'll be brought down by Lolik, but that'll give it back to the Quista. And that's actually, yeah, certainly good for Scary Faces there. Lolik finding another kill, but that's exactly who they want to have, the Rapier. He's going to Yules himself up. The Rocket Barrage will be here. Hex goes out onto Quista, however. Homing Missile is chasing down Lolik, and it is going to land. And that'll finish off the Timbersaw. Things looking really good now for Scary Faces. Timbersaw down for 120 seconds. No buyback. Call down, going to scout things out in the trees. Not going to find much. However, overall, very good engagement for Scary Faces despite the Tusk being out of that Chronosphere at the start. Speaking of the Tusk, he's going to try and bring down Crystal. He's probably going to pay with his life here. Mechanism not going to keep you up for long. Rod of Aoi going to drop him low. Krista's actually backing off here, worried about some reinitiation. Find the Light does come in. He's going to get instantly hexed up by Eknard, who's trying to back off. Lightning Bolt will be there. Thunder Wrath available now, and not even going to need to pop it. Actually, he will for the kill onto Eknart. That is a buyback available, however, for the Skywrath Mage. And overall, Scary Face is still looking fine at this point with the Rapier back in its rightful owner's palms in Quista. And Blink picked up as well from a bash. He will be able to position himself better for these Death Wards, but Roshan could be forfeit over to Duza here, albeit they're going to bring this down extremely slowly with the Tusk Zeus combo.
I have to say this is one of the more exciting games I've more or less ever seen. Just crazy fights, the Rapiers exchanging hands mid-fight twice. But this Roshan now with the agencies might maybe be a little too much for Scary Faces to handle. But who the hell knows? I mean, I thought once they loot the Rapier it's gonna beat as well. But I guess Slark still not that strong quite yet. Didn't get the pounce to the high ground, that was what let them down. But one thing, the Tusk, I would have thought that the Gyrocopter with the Rapier just makes quick work of him, but the Tusk has pretty high armor, has of course the evasion as well coming in from that Heaven's Halberd, so Gyrocopter didn't do that much at all. Monkey King Bar should be the next item of choice for him, but he's still like just pretty damn long way away from it.
Yeah. Something interesting to note from the Radiant side, I'm wondering why they don't have any physical damage mitigation aside from this Crimson Guard. They really need either a Shiva's instead of this Yule Scepter onto the Timbersaw, or an AC on any of the Timbersaw, the Slark, or the Ursa. And it's allowing Quista to do quite a bit of work in these engagements, as well as the Death Ward. And we've seen the Death Ward be the trump card thus far. Shadowway may run into feeling good here, but he's got the Aegis. He'll jump forward with the Abyssal Blade. Chrono is onto 2 though. Find the Light definitely going to drop here. They're bringing feeling good low. That's the Aegis being popped, and the Guardian Angels is still available with the refresh. They are going to look to re-engage perhaps with the Slark here, but no, feeling good. Going to feed his life over. 97 seconds on the sideline without buyback. Over 100 for the Zeus without buyback. This is the cue for the GG push for Scary Faces. Rapier ready for Quista, and he does 3,800 gold in addition to that. Perhaps he looks to drop his boots and pick something else up, finish off that Crystallis. But either way, they do have a tier 3-2 to get through here, but it should be just fine to do so.
Man, this I think just going for straight off GG probably the best decision for them to make at the moment if they go for it. Sobaka still does not have his own Abyssal Blade. He's saving for buyback, although I think already for the last fight, had he had Abyssal Blade with that rapier he got to pick up in the mid fight, I mean, I just think at one point it's not even meaningful to save for buybacks, but it's so hard to call that. Shadowwave goes in, will catch Lolik if they get that kill on the Timbersaw. He does not have buyback, but the snowball is formed. He stays alive, but the snowball is coming back in. Krista pops the cooldown. Can they get the kill? Sobaka, he's hexed up as well in the Mystic Flare. He goes down. Well, I guess thank God he has buyback now, but they are saving it. Lolik does survive somehow. If he had died, it would have been GG without the Timbersaw being there, without no hex for them, no Dagon. They even keep the Rex alive with the Glyph. But still about 30 seconds left. Can they...
Bash picked up bots. He can join the fray now. The Witch Doctor hasn't been here the entire time, so they still have a full death ward. They will look to take 2 lanes here, and there's a tier 3 melting the melee racks to fall as well. Chakram only going to be thrown out here glaringly by the Timbersaw, and they will leave the range racks for now, be content with their spoils, look to TP out. Nobody going to find any return kills from the side of Duza, and a very nice turn of events going the way of Scary Faces. No one will be found on their exit, and Abash perhaps will be aggressed upon by Lolik in this bottom lane, but he does have support coming for him in the form of the Gyrocopter. He will drop very low with the Timber Chain being there. He's going to pop his BKB. Voodoo Restoration trying to keep himself up. Jump forward from Find the Light. Call down is there, though. Find the Light's going to pay with his life for this one. He does get his Yule Scepter off. Quista is here with the BKB, though. Refresher up from the Zeus. He's down once again for 100 seconds. Gem on the deck. It's going to be reclaimed once again by Scary Faces. Certainly not bringing that bringing down a bash for their Zeus there. Is, however, pretty much even at this point. Don't think Scary Faces will be able to take anything off this. And no Roshan, still up for a little while.
What is this game? 70 minutes in, and it's not like one side is totally turtling in their base or something. I guess Scary Faces were at one point in the game, but there's even an Aghanim Scepter now in the Sky of Mage. It's of course extremely expensive for him to use it, but if he can pop it with the Chronosphere, people are just gonna die. I mean, there are no BKBs on Duza.
Yeah, he's got a Ghost Scepter as well, so fairly survivable is Eknard even without the Guardian Angel. And there will be the Dagon there from Lolik, but not enough on its own to bring down this Skyrath. There's 2,600 HP on this Skyrath Mage, and things looking really scary for both sides here, but I feel like Duza has begun to fall off a bit. Their cores have been 6-slotted in the form of the Ursa and the Timber for a little while. As I mentioned before, I really would like to see this Yule Scepter replaced on Lolik for either a Shiva's or an AC, but it doesn't seem like he's too willing to do that. Sitting on 4k gold right now, so certainly can pick up at least 2 components of the Shivas without the recipe.
Oh god. Then of course he wouldn't have any way to get rid of the silence, so he might just get wrecked immediately. So I'm not too sure. It's really hard. To be honest, the BKB might not be too bad, especially if they see the Sky of Mage having the Daganims. Plus, soon enough, the Omni Knight, not too sure if he's going to save for buyback. Probably the smarter choice is to save for it, but if he gets enough gold, he's going to have Hex, which means double Hex with the Refresher Orb. So they're going to have 3 Hexes on their team. They're going to have Chronosphere, maybe a double Chronosphere if Shadowwave wants to go for a Refresher Orb, for example. Might want to build into damage, but double Chrono may be a pretty damn safe option to go for. Monkey King Bar will be purchased for Krista as well. He even has the space for it anyway as it is, and has another 5,600 on top of the Monkey King Bar. This game, man.
Yeah, there's no butterflies actually on the side for...
State gets jumped by Lolik though, but Lolik gets hexed up. Mystic Flare number 1, Mystic Flare number 2. Yule Scepter buys some time, but I don't think Lolik can escape. There's the silence to follow. Well, that was a lot of Mystic Flares.
Yeah, that cooldown really low underneath the Aghanims. That's a big kill. He does have the buyback, however, on this Timbersaw. Eknard will have to rotate back to base. So there's going to be no immediate push. Roshan not going to be up until about 7640. So nothing can be taken immediately by Scary Faces here, unfortunately. Shadowway still has a lot of room to grow on this Void. Definitely a positive for Scary Faces. 5,900 gold available on him. And there will be some scouting done from the illusions from Abash. But State 21 surviving there, a very big deal for Scary Faces. Shadowway looking for a solo kill. Probably should pick up a damage item if he looks to do that. He's going to jump forward mid lane with the Mask of Madness pop. Going to look to find Collapse on the high ground. He will, but the snowball is actually going to allow him to get out. He will have get hexed up, however. Ancient sealed as well. And the Tusk going to be down for 100 seconds without buyback. Meanwhile, Ursa going to jump in top. Abyssal Blade onto State 21. That's a big kill on the Omni Knight. He's going to get Rod of Owied up, however, and going to have to try and back off. Chronosphere is down. Call down will land under the BKB, but it just expires, and the concussive shot will be there. Mystic Flare as well. Ursa down for 100 seconds. Does have buyback available. Find the light, turning tail, and running should be just fine to get away from Scary Faces. No split push happening elsewhere, and Abash going to push out the lane bottom.
So the buyback on State 21, it was either a mistake or they really want to go for the GG. It's either or at the moment. Abash is pushing out the lane like you mentioned as well. Has the boost of travels coming off cooldown in 16 seconds. Unless of course he gets picked off at the moment, which I don't think Duza will do. Although then again, they do see 4 heroes top lane. Shadowway still holding on to that massive amount of gold. I guess buyback plus boost of travels will cost you quite a lot. But he's there going in with the Shadow Blade. Oh, whew! Loic blinked out just in time. Had he gotten Chrono then died. He does still have buyback though, but they just get the Rex. Back off, play it extremely safe. To be honest, there's no point for them to take risks at the moment.
Yeah, and Abash is not with them as well, so they definitely don't want to be risking that. They will TP to their offlane and look to push it out with the 2 supports for the time being. Shadowway, 6,600 gold on him. He's going to pick up a bounty rune to add salt to the wound, and really needs to pick up a damage item of his own to start hitting harder in these engagements, or at the very least a BKB of his own. Don't feel like that'll be the choice, however, as the 4 other members of his team, or 3 other members of his team, do have a BKB, and Eknar's got a Ghost Scepter, so everyone fairly survivable for SFZ, and I feel like they do need a little bit more damage than just what Quist offers. Jump in mid lane, Chrono is gonna whiff from Shadowway. He's gonna clean up the cheeks in it for some reason. Not sure why he stayed around.
Oh, there's a second rapier! It's a backup rapier!
Yeah, so that'll be nice for Quista if he dies off. They'll still have a chance for sure. He could replace this MKB for now, but probably won't be willing to do so. But he does have that rapier, as you mentioned, insurance policy available there for
Shadowway,
Quista.
freaking buy something, dude!
7k gold on the Void. No vision here for the dire side, otherwise they may be able to pick off someone. But Roche not going to respawn for another minute and a half. So nothing to be taken for Duza, no Roshan tends to be done, but they do know for Scary Faces that it is possible that Roshan is up right now at around the minimum spawn, so they will probably be scouting this out sometime soon. Void Chronosphere comes off cooldown in 7 seconds. He's going to pop the Shadow Blade up and look to find a Chrono. He may find it on the Zeus. Jump forward, blink out though from Find the Light, and Repel going to be used as well. Shadowway looking to chase down, but not going to find anything. Still 7k gold on this Void. Not sure if he's like AFK patrolling one of his teammates, but items are good, and you probably...
I really think it's... If he has enough for Refresher Orb and buyback, he's gonna go for it. But until then, he's gonna save for buyback and Boots of Travels to be on the safe side. So it's probably that. I can't see any other reason why he would do so.
I mean, the problem is that if he ever catches Quista in one of these Chronospheres, he won't be able to kill anyone in them. They may be with the Mystic Flare and the Purification, they get like the Zeus
I
down,
think
but...
Scary Faces, the thing is that they're gonna have to more or less 5-man all the time anyway. They cannot have Omni Knight separately just because we saw what happened when he got Abyssal Bladed. So they have to be more or less grouped up. They cannot allow for any one hero to die.
May find the Ursa as well as the Tusk here with the Chronosphere. They're going to jump together. Chrono is there. It's going to find at least Feeling Good. Shards will be there, but Feeling Good going to drop. He's got buyback available. However, they're going to find Collapse as well. Do you notice anything when you click on the Tusk? His Crimson Guard is in the stash. What the fuck is the deal?
Yeah, he was
with
carrying
that?
wards. He didn't have enough space.
And he's going to pop his Blade Mail, but he will drop here. He actually drops everyone pretty low with that Blade Mail. Quista going to have to pop the Satanic, but they bring down the Tusk. Meanwhile, they are going to lose the Omni Knight to Loic, and Find the Light is there. Call Down is available. Shadow A, however, gets hexed up. Call Down will be there. He will drop fairly low. He's going to backtrack that Whirling Death, however. So Baka going to look to jump forward with the pounce. He will back off, but a blink forward from Loic finishes off the Void. However, he's going to pay with his life. Quista chopping him down as well as the Mystic Flare is there. Ancient Seal nicely nicely played by Eknark. They're going to keep a bash up and bring down the Slark. He's down for 120 seconds without buyback. And Stake 21 doesn't have buyback at the moment, but still, overall is a slight win for Scary Faces. They used 2 buybacks, but Ursa's buyback used as well, and that's going to find them nothing, as he's the only one alive for Duza.
So, Scary Faces, they kind of misplayed the situation. First of all, they underestimated the Blade Mail. So, really well done by the Tusk there, surviving as long as it did and doing a lot of damage. Of course, double ultimate from Zeus is what wrecked most of them. But, Eknard, Skyriff Mage, he's the one that's pretty much winning them the fights. Those Mystic Flares are killing everybody. He got 6 Mystic Flares off in the last fight with the buyback. 6 freaking Mystic Flares.
And they're going to take the Roche as well. This will be an Aegis going Shadow A's way because he doesn't like items. So he will pick up that Aegis. Oh, actually, they're going to give it over to Eknard. So as you mentioned, certainly they're noticing the potency of his toolkit. And he does have travel as well.
If you're Duza, you see the Aegis on Skyriff, or you see the text anyway who picks up the Aegis. You're like, let him freaking throw out his 3 Mystic Flares and ignore him. Is that a just choice that might be made by them?
Probably so. I mean, they have been able to burst him down, but he's been positioned pretty well. And if they burst him down once, he's going to come back, and that will use a lot of their toolkit. They're going to need at least 1 ult from Zeus and the Dagon cooldown from the Timbersaw to burst him down, being that he does have 2600 HP. So unless he pops that Ghost Scepter and gets dropped with not too much committed, it's probably the right decision to ignore him.
Lincoln Spear Void
is going to pick up a Lincoln, so perhaps that's for the Dagon. Or the Abyssal Blade. It's not
probably
bad.
Probably like Abyssal or Hex or something like that, but I don't know, man. Just get yourself a double ultimate.
His Chronos have been fine. He could have used a refresher or a damage item for sure.
Refresher with Aghanim Skyriff being on your side, it's feels like, come on, GG dudes. But Lolik has picked up himself an E-Blade. So, to be honest, if Quista gets caught without, well, is that the no, it's just a rapier in the stash, not on the ground. He's playing it safe.
From the Timber, AC and Shivas are both much better for the team in this situation.
It's so funny. There's no AC on either side. I mean, it's 80 minutes, and that's like the first time there's no AC.
Yeah, and like, who are you gonna burst with this? Bash has a BKB on this Witch Doctor, and like, yeah, you can kill off the Skywrath, but he just picked up an Aegis. So what's the purpose of that pickup there? I really don't feel like it buffs up the team at all. And you're not a Morphling. Like, you don't have Shotgun. You can't continue to right-click when you use that E-Blade. Like, yeah, your Whirling Death will get buffed up too, but Quista's just going to stand on your high ground and kill your Rax. And what are you going to do with your E-Blade? He's got a Lincoln Sphere buff. Jump forward from Shadow A. He's going to whiff the Chrono. BKB Guardian Angel is popped. Satanic as well. Popped by Quista. Sabaka going to use the Shadow Dance. They're going to bring down Quista here. And that's a Rapier on the deck. He's going to buy back instantly. And it looks like he will TP back into the fray. And the Tusk is dropping fairly low. Call down is going to be there. Eknark getting low, but that's just his Aegis for now. And he's the only death. Meanwhile, the Ursa is down for 109 seconds without buyback. And with a Rapier, Quista is back in the fray. They need to be worried, though. The Rapier is up onto Sabaka. And perhaps they don't know about this backup Rapier for Quista, so they look to re-engage here despite being 4 on 5. Mega Creeps are now here for Scary Faces, and perhaps they look to GG this out. If they've clicked on Quista, they do know he has another Rapier. Homing Missile is going to land on Sabaka. The Dark Pack will purge it off. However, they're going to need to mount a defense here. Quista's chopping down on this tier 4 under Repel. Jump forward from Shadow Wave with the Mystic Flare. They'll kill off the Tusk. Collapse is down without buyback. There's the tier 4s as well. Looks like it'll be GG. Lolik not willing to commit forward, waiting for his teammates here. Call down is going to land on at least 2. Dagon goes out with the E-Blade and does absolutely nothing. Not sure why you picked up an E-Blade. Their Glyph gonna fall 81 minutes in. Scary Faces finding a very big first game win in this lower bracket finals. Winner goes on to the grand finals. Scary Faces taking a lead 1-0.
To be honest, Lincoln's Repel was a pretty good combination. Faces Void purely used the Lincoln Sphere on the Gyrocopter to make it so that he survives a little bit longer, and it worked out in the last fight as well. He got his Satanic off at least, so he got his full Flak Cannon off before he died and had to buy back. So, although Faces Void completely whiffed the ultimate, just Gyrocopter was so strong. Well played by Skyriff Mage as well, like really well done by him. But guys, this was only game number 1 and that was already 80 minutes, so we're gonna head into game number 2's lobby now. Probably teams maybe want a little break anyway, but thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the game because, well, it was pretty much, I think, maybe even the most entertaining game I've ever had to cast, but I'll see you guys for game number 2.